Welcome, everybody. My name is Claudia Huiza, and I am so proud today to bring you the first of many wonderful collaborations between myself and Building Bridges Art Exchange. And I thank Marisa Caicholo for this opportunity. Also, congratulations to Noe and to Gabriela for winning the Latino CAP grant from the city of Santa Monica, who is gracefully sponsored this event. This workshop titled Two Chairs is going to be presented here in the next hour. And it entails the spirit and imagination and intuition of both these awesome artists. They're going to lead a 1-hour online workshop only on Zoom. And they will be going over how to make a sculpture with ordinary household objects. This is something you can do at home, and hopefully some of you will do this at home as the workshop goes on. And it will be dealing with the themes of improvisation, breathing, and healing, and will exhibit their practices, how they practice this in their own art practice. A little bit about Noe and Gabriela. I am so grateful for their presence in my life, and also it's so wonderful to bring them together in collaboration. For Gabriela, she is a self-taught artist whose practice blends diverse forms of expression and media. She deals in sculpture, video, painting, and apparel design. Her sculptures incorporate found objects, as you will see today, industrial materials, thrift store furniture. I know that one of the things that's really she's vibing with right now are thrift store purses, which I vibe with as well. I love that. She builds furniture and uses furniture, found objects, insulation foam. She investigates ideas of home, self, and our relationship to the environments around us. I am so pleased to bring her to you today in collaboration with Noe. And Noe, I'm so proud to know you as well. He's a Southern California-based artist. He deals in printmaking, sculpture, performance. He investigates the poetics of labor. If you haven't seen his sculptures before, please go look him up online. They're just poetic and beautiful. He considers the relationship between labor as it fits into the concepts or conceptions of femininity and masculinity in order to play with and reshape cultural references, narratives, myths, traditions, and objects, ultimately employing a new meaning. And I love his work because it's very grounded. It really grounds me when I consider his work. So welcome, Noe and Gabriela. We're so proud to have you here. And again, this is one of many to come. Thank you for joining us. Much appreciated.
What's up, everybody out there on Zoom? How are y'all feeling out there? Can I get a heart or something on those little, down below?
I don't know if this has
Did you know how to do? No, I know how to do that.
Instagram
No, it's not on Instagram. Yeah, there we go. See, I got a little like boo, boo, boo. Anyways, just thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Building Bridges, for having us. Thank you, Claudia, for curating us and bringing us together. Gabby, I love your work. Let me just say I'm such a big fan of your work.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love your work as well. It's amazing.
Oh man, well let's dive into your work though.
Okay.
As Claudia introduced your work, there's like so much to it. I'm just kind of like going back to the PowerPoint, just kind of like so everyone can kind of recap of what you're doing. But let me go into the images real quick. What's this all about? What kind of material are you using? What's the title of this? What's your inspiration?
So this was from my first solo show that I curated myself.
Where at?
It was at my old studio, Little Tokyo Art Complex.
Oh, okay.
And the manager at the time had a space available upstairs from the studio and said, "Do you guys want to show some work during Art Week or Art Walk?" And I was like, "That's fine." So I just decided, I was like, well, I should just have my own show. I've never had a show prior to this, like this big, and I didn't even know, I just curated myself. And I actually got hit by a car like a few weeks before
Aw.
this. No, but it was nothing bad. He just hit my trunk, and
Uh-huh.
the guy didn't have insurance, but he like gave me $1,500.
What?
So I used the $1,500 to put into the show.
So you invested in yourself.
Yes. And
Okay.
then I treated this show sort of like a party. So I had friends come and DJ, and I kind of like sold alcohol to like, you know,
Fundraise, right? Yeah, absolutely. You got to do what you got to do to
And,
make it to.
Yeah, this is the title of this installation is House, and it was a 5-room installations, all monochromatic, all found objects, and I added insulating foam to the entire pieces. And the video shown here is a video I made to do part with this installation. It's called Jugando con el Diablo, and it was also a all monochromatic video.
So translation, playing with the devil, right?
Yes.
Is that the right?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. Right on. I see some questions out there. We'll get to the questions later on at the end when we're done with our presentations, but I'm just letting you know that I do see you. So don't worry about it. I'm not trying to ignore you, but I see you. We'll get to you, all right? All right. So tell me a little bit more about this whole monochromatic theme that you use throughout your work.
Well, I'm like, I really love color, and color really affects my mood. And if I'm in a place where even lighting really affects the mood that I'm in. So if it's like a space with like very little lighting, I just feel like I'm already getting like kind of sad. But if I'm in an environmental space that it's like bright and colorful, I just feel like my energy is like, whoa, you know, I absorb that type of energy from light.
Absolutely, yeah.
I feel like a flower.
Oh, flowers, such a beautiful metaphor. Quick question on the colors and feelings. Like, that's really important in your work as far as like emotion that you pour into your work, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just feel that it, you know, it just like translates how I feel at the moment, like the colors that I use. And I feel like even in looking back at like colors that I've worn and stuff and I put out in my work, I'm like, oh, I know what I was feeling at that moment.
And this one right here, what are you feeling? And what's the title actually?
Oh, this one was just a blue room, and this is kind of like me dealing with like how I was feeling at the moment in my own room space, and it was not like the best of times.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's such a like deep history in art history, like thinking about blue. I mean, yeah, Picasso. I mean, even to now to Betty Saar is using the color blues to signify emotion. This is such a beautiful piece right here.
Thank you, Noah.
All right, this chair one. What's the title of this one?
This is two chairs.
Two chairs. What? That's what we're doing today.
Yeah. So this was sort of like a small like installation, like a guerrilla style installation at Bellas Artes in Mexico.
Oh, Bellas Artes.
Yes, I rented my friend's like apartment for a week, and I made this piece and another piece, and then I managed to get them into front of Bellas Artes. And technically it's like illegal to have like even take photographs in front of Bellas Artes. So I dropped the pieces off there, and apparently I heard that apparently they stayed there for 2 days.
Really?
Yeah, so you know, it's like I wanted to sort of like you know how like every Mexican artist, I guess, like I don't know, their dream is to show at Bellas Artes because it's like such a
that's my dream.
Yeah.
Shit.
And so just like dropping these pieces off there and kind of like having like the everyday people see my work is like the same people that were going to go inside and see all those pieces and the works inside of Bellas Artes, they also got to see my work. And I felt like I was communicating with everyone with that.
Absolutely. Talk a little. This is really interesting. Like your audience, the everyday person. Why is that important?
I just feel like that's kind of how I grew up. I didn't grow up with like art around me, so I just discovered it. And again, with even the materials that I use like things that you can literally find anywhere. Like I feel like you can go to, I don't know, I'm pretty sure like Europe or something has like a hardware store, so you can find all the materials that I use at a hardware store. You can go to Mexico, you can go to Brazil, you can go everywhere has hardware stores. And so I try to focus and work with things that you can find every day.
Absolutely. That's really, and another thing too that I really appreciate about your practice is that basically you create your own opportunities. Like you do you like say, if I'm not waiting for an institution to come to me, I'm going to create my own opportunity. And I also read on the Los Angeles Times of you kind of like talking about, basically creating your own opportunity, but also creating your own education, like looking stuff up, not necessarily like, research-based. You do your own research, right? Like, talk a little bit about that.
I like to go to the library a lot or read books, we do have a library in our hands.
Yeah, we do.
Researching
absolutely.
is really fun.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I try to show even my nephews and, the younger people that I know, just like, you have the resources. Your phone is your resource. Like,
absolutely.
Using even like platforms as like your social media, it really helps, like, I feel like that's also how I managed to put my work out there more, like through Instagram and stuff.
Absolutely.
Working those platforms. Yeah.
That's cool. No, I think that's really important, like to hear from you, because like a lot of your practice is like very Rasquacha, it's like you learn, and I know you personally too. So like I know a little bit about your background, your family and stuff like that, like construction workers, and like they also kind of help you out as far as the construction.
Yes.
How I'm gonna go to the next one, but tell me about like the importance of like your family being part of your work.
Well, they help me a lot in ways of like structural, like, like setting the foundation for a lot of my pieces. Like my stepdad has taught me a lot how to use tools, because before this I didn't really know much. He taught me how to construct even a frame. He taught me how to construct like wiring for electrical stuff. And even when I used to help them, they have a handy crew business. So Handy Crew Solutions, shout out to my family.
Handy Crew Solution, look that up on Instagram. I'm a big follower, actually. I'll be liking them all the time. So,
Yeah. So
that's my research right there.
So they just like, even just watching them like, do all this stuff, I learned so much from them. And then I feel like I can put all that into my pieces.
Absolutely. That's interesting. So there's you making the piece, but there's this whole other layer, like this spiritual layer, like, the hands in it. And it's like your family is also part of the making of your sculpture. That is so beautiful. I think that's what really, like, I think like for me, like, we'll talk about my work later, but like, I think I really appreciate that, because there is the essence of heart too, and like, lineage and where you're coming from, and then you can see that like your hands, but also their hands within the work.
I also feel the same way about your work.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Those, like the construction boots.
Yeah,
I love those.
Absolutely. Thank you. So tell me about this piece. This is actually one of your recent pieces that you just got done up in Palm Springs, right?
Yes, this is called Entre Sueños, and it's a bed I found on OfferUp.
Oh,
and this is like a 1950s bed frame, a twin bed frame, and I wanted to talk about like dreams, how they're portals, like, and reflecting onto mirrors, how they also talk about how mirrors can be portals to spaces, and I wanted them to sort of like reflect with one another and have sort of the dream coming out of one of the portals, which would be the mirrors.
That is so beautiful. Can you talk about what a portal means to you?
A portal, I think it's like, I think we go into portals and dimensions every time we fall asleep. Like we just like experience something, for me personally.
Absolutely.
Oops, I tapped this. I think, I guess, our brain has many portals. And yeah.
This is great, because this is what we're doing here. Today is a full moon too. So like, that's another portal.
In Aquarius?
Yeah, I believe so.
Aquarius.
Yeah, yes. That's it. I mean, I don't know, but I'm trusting you on this one.
I think my friend Bibbs. Shout out Bibbs.
Right on. What's their name?
Bibbs.
Bibbs. Shout out to you. Thank you for that information. But yeah, these portals, I think we'll continue that conversation, but I'm really glad that you brought that up.
Should we move on?
Yeah, absolutely.
To you, no, I'll leave that.
To me, that's what I am on paper, but I'm other things too.
Let's show some work. Let's see. Oh.
I think you pressed this one. Let's see. There you go.
Oh, there you go. All right, do you just want to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. The Sleeping Mexican. Yeah, it's obviously, if some folks don't know, the Sleeping Mexican is a stereotype that has been put out into the world to basically make laborers, Mexicans, to look lazy, to look drunk, to seem like they're not doing anything. But in reality, you know, we do a lot of work. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's really interesting. Like, I come from a working class family. You come from a working class family, immigrant family as well. Yeah, mine as well. And, you know, that's like not necessarily the truth for the both of us, right?
Exactly.
Like how like your parents work pretty hard, right?
Yes, every day.
Every day, right?
I feel like your parents also work the same.
Yeah, definitely. You know, just thinking about a lot about the work that we do. And in this image, this is called ofrenda, offering. Shout out to Savvy Woods. She took this photograph. This is actually at residency down in Inglewood. Shout out to Rick. But this is one of the pieces that I just kind of been thinking a lot about, and it's just made. It's a sleeping Mexican made out of dirt. You know.
Is that a working glove?
That is a working glove. Yeah, that's my friend Juan's working glove. Actually, he just one day he gave it to me. He said, "Make something out of it, Noah." And I had that sitting in my studio for about probably like a year.
It kind of feels like an offer, like not like you're kind of like showing people like you know, you have your working glove and you're like, look, this is what you think we're doing.
Yeah.
We're lazy Mexicans or not?
Oh, I like that. I like that. What's it called? That interpretation. There we go. Sorry, I'm blanking out over here.
It's okay.
But yeah, absolutely. Just kind of coming out of the walls and just really inspired by a lot of the artists also here in Los Angeles. And I feel like, you know, we're in that same group of folks with Rafa, Beatriz. I mean, who other folks that you collaborate with?
And I work with Carla.
Carla, that's right.
Yeah.
Carla, shout out to Carla.
She's an amazing artist.
Yeah.
I'm blanking out.
It's all good. All to say that like Maria too.
Oh yes, Maria.
Yeah.
Another amazing artist.
But like all to say, like, you know, our community of artists has been a big influence on all of us, I feel. So this is actually an old piece. This is called The Poetics of Labor, and believe it or not, that's actually just a blue rag. You know, like those blue mechanic rags.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is it? Oh, did it turn that way? That color?
I mean, I rubbed it that color.
Oh, okay.
So basically, this is all like dirt. You know what I mean? Just like thinking about like labor, the poetics of it, like what does labor mean? How our hands are in it, but all just like cleaning up, and just like here we have just the rust that I picked up from a 1967 Chevy step van, which is another project that I've been working on the side. And now it's up here in Los Angeles in Inglewood in collaboration with the Crenshaw Dairy Mart. So shout out to my team at the Crenshaw Dairy Mart. But we have this vehicle up there, but I had to deal with the mechanics of it, you know, just like learning how to do mechanics, but also the mess of it, and wasting all these rags. And then like one day I threw it on the side. I was like, whoa. This is beautiful, you know, like I'm just going to keep it, you know.
Because it just gets thrown away. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's how you make art, you know.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, this one's gorgeous. I think I seen this one at USC, correct?
Yeah, USC. This one's called Breathing because it's kind of looks like lungs. But
it does look like lungs.
It does, right? So basically this one, I have a 1987 truck. So I do a lot of work with vehicles. You know, I think there's something really interesting about vehicles and how we use them and how we use them and how they relate in our lives. So this truck is actually the first truck that my parents bought when they came to the States. So this was a pickup truck, a Ford Ranger, and it's a family of 5 of us. And we would basically travel in this truck from San Diego, all the way to Arizona, Mexico, to El Paso, down to Mexico through there, to Chihuahua. So it was interesting to have this pickup truck and be in a family car.
And then it got handed down to you?
It got handed down to me. Yeah, my pops gave it to me. My mom gave it to me. They said, like, you're going to take care of it. So
you restored it.
I'm doing the maintenance. This is the maintenance part of it. So this is all the pigment that's underneath the truck, just oils and all that grit. So this one, thinking about labor, you know what I mean? We were talking a lot about that. So, you know, my parents, they have a collection of stuff. So this is my dad's wheelbarrow. So just kind of like figuring out like, what am I going to do with these things? And, you know, I just decided to play with this idea of labor and leisure, you know, adulthood, childhood, and kind of like creating my own lowrider bike, but talks about labor.
Right. And then, is this a bike that you owned?
Yeah, it was a bike that I had. I build a lot of lowrider bikes. That's kind of like my side hobby. Yeah, my brother right now, he's building a trike right now.
That's amazing.
And then like I have a little niece, so like we're definitely building her one.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super cool. I'm really excited about that. But you know, this is kind of like the work that I do, just kind of taking like as you do in your practice, taking ordinary objects and just trying to transform it. So that kind of like leads us today to our workshop. It's called Two Chairs. You know, 2 chairs number 2 for you.
Yes.
Yeah. But basically, like, we're really excited for y'all to join us and really think about the notions of play, imagination, intuition, improvisation, breathing, and healing. Those are like the 6 terms that I really, really want y'all to focus on. As far as if you're an artist yourself, I believe that everyone's an artist, you know, like everyone is creative. Everyone is capable to do these things. You just have to allow yourself to kind of tap into your imagination.
Yes.
Oh, I used one of the key terms.
Yes.
Damn. But is there anything that you wanted to add?
No.
Okay. you just want to get to our making
I'm
practice.
excited.
Awesome. So today, Gabby and I are going to be working on 2 chairs. So this is kind of like, I guess what you would say, like the structure that we're kind of playing around with. We're just playing around with the design and the build of a sculpture that employs a form of a chair, or, you know, you can, as you see it, like in Gabby's work and my work, you can use some other home furnishing. And creating a metaphor. I think artwork is all about creating metaphors, as you saw like in Gabby's work, talking about portals and dreaming. And I really love that, like bed as that metaphor to kind of like to transcend all of those things. So one chair, Gabby is going to be basically adding stuff. And then the other chair, I will be kind of taking away. So it's just a very simple way to kind of look at sculpture and how to approach sculpture is like whether you decide to add things onto one object or you decide to subtract. I'm going to try to stick close to these rules, but you know, you can always break rules. I think it's always important to break rules. And I just kind of put up the ideas of a metaphor. And then today, if y'all didn't know, we did go over it today, but just as a reminder, today is the full moon. So the example of the metaphor today is, and I got help from my wife. So, you know, this is a little shout out wife, exactly. The moon is a magical portal that you enter to manifest your wishes. So just kind of ponder about that today of what you want to manifest today in your life. You know, I know we've gone through a lot this year and we're still going through it, you know. As far as like the uprisings, the pandemic, the mourning that has been happening right now. And I feel like moments like this is a moment to uplift and come together with each other. And today is the full moon. So whatever it is that you are asking from the universe today, just, you know, whisper it, you know, say what you want and let's see if it manifests, you know? So you're going to be adding, right?
I will be adding. I have chicken wire. I have insulating foam. It's called Great Stuff. I've been using this since 2010. This is available at Home Depot.
You just said it like an infomercial.
I know.
We should get sponsored.
I tried.
They don't do that.
I've reached out to them many times. I have extra foam that I will be adding for volume. And then I have paint and some skewers that I always love using.
Skewers, so we're going to do some carne asada.
You can literally get these at like 99-cent stores.
99-cent store. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
All right, so should we get started?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I will start kind of forming this chicken wire. I took off the seat from the chair, if you can see here. And I got this chair again OfferUp. I love this. I was going to save it. So I kind of want this to be coming out of the seat. So what I will be doing, I'll be adding some quick staple guns to it, so it just secures it a little bit, and you can add it here, so you can form it to anything. It will be.
And as you're doing that, because my assignment is to take away stuff, so I'm just gonna start cutting.
Perfect. Okay, so I added a few staples, and now I will be adding some foam. You just gotta shake it.
How long do you shake it for?
I don't know. It says
Shake
30
it,
seconds,
shake
but
it.
I just do like because I've learned if you also keep this in the sun, it kind of has like a droopier effect to it.
Mm.
And when you kind of shake it, it gives it more volume. So I'll just start. Oh, it's flattered.
So so I can describe my process over here. I got a Japanese blade. You can definitely get these at any hardware store. They're a little bit easier to like cut. So what I just did was I used the square tool right here to kind of measure where I want to cut. So I just kind of like, I'm just using the length of this, which is about 6 inches or so. So I'm just kind of like using it, resting it, marking where I want to cut, create my line. And the cool thing about a square is that you can put it against any type of edge, and it'll help you to create a straight line. This tool is very helpful. You got your 90-degree and your 45-degree angle. So if you're a construction worker, you know what's up. You definitely have one of these in your toolbox. But I'm over here just cutting this chair to a smaller, I'm thinking about for a child, you know. Just kind of using my intuition to just kind of like figure this out. And I love the fact that Gabby over there is like playing.
Yeah.
Tell me about your play in your practice.
So I just start off trying to add volume. You can add foam, like I said, to it, but I just want to show you how I build up my volume. Also, you should probably wear protection when using this stuff. I'll wear it.
I forgot about that protection. Sometimes you forget, you know, as long as you remember, you know what's up then.
Yeah, this is really good to, yeah, you should definitely wear protection for this.
Here, actually, I'm going to join you too, but I'm not going to, because I'm so far away, I'm just going to be over here with my mask over here, pray for LA.
I forget a lot of the time.
But I can talk out loud, so you know. That's that.
Oh, yeah.
That's that. And just to give y'all over there on the Zoom, the way you kind of use a saw to start off is just kind of like lightly, wherever the line, you make the line, just kind of make your groove first. And if you're a kid, absolutely. You can't hear me. They can't hear me. I need to scream at y'all. I'm not a screamer, but just like so y'all know, when you use a saw, just kind of like lightly make your mark, make a nice little groove in the beginning so it can help you guide. And then once you have that in place, that little groove right there, you can just go at it. But also for the kids that are out there, definitely use an adult with you. Make sure you have an adult with you to kind of help you out. But you can definitely do this. I don't have a kid yet, but I might give them a saw, but as long as I'm there with them.
And for another thing, where you can create form with this foam, you can use any type of plastic. And this is what I do sometimes. You can attach it to anything. I'll place it on top of this, and always wear gloves when using the foam because it's very sticky and it gets stuck in your feet. So as you see, I'll show you here. So this is the chicken wire form. And then I will also show you how I use the plastic to create form. So I will add foam to this.
You will be adding foam to the plastic.
Protection.
And always be protected. Always safety first when you do.
I will wait for the foam to dry. And if stuff falls off the ground, that's totally fine. You can just pick it up and use it on the rest of the stuff. It usually takes about 20, maybe 15 minutes to dry. And before it's solidifies, you can also mess around with it and you can squeeze it, but with gloves and protection so you don't get it on your hands. And you can form it into anything you want. And then with the plastic, you'll see how I'll be able to form it into any shape and then take it off the plastic because it doesn't stick to the plastic. So if you have, maybe just a big piece of plastic that you want to lay down and mess around with it. And then once it's, I'll sort of show you what I'm talking about. Like I mentioned, I will also be using normal foam that you can get at a Dollar Tree. And you can stick it anywhere and it'll just connect with the foam. So like most, immigrant parents, they really didn't understand what I was doing. And they were supportive in the beginning, but they didn't really understand what I was doing. And towards, later on, I had to explain to them and show them what I was doing. And once they became more involved in helping my work, helping me create these pieces, they began to understand what I was doing. And, they come to all my events now and to all my openings. Noah, do you want to talk about what you're doing?
Sure. Let me just finish this off right there.
Ooh.
So basically, I don't know what I'm doing. I got skills to know what I'm doing, but I'm really just using my intuition on certain things. Let me just kind of face the camera a little bit where I am at, my little station. So the chair has gone, it's gone pretty short, but I just kind of been trimming away, just kind of been using my square tool just to kind of give me some sort of reference to lines. And I'm just kind of cutting as I'm going. I'm just really enjoying that type of rhythm of just cutting things, maybe deciding at that specific moment of what angle do I want it at. But also just trying to maximize the use for the Japanese tool. The cool thing about the Japanese tool as well is that you can just literally just kind of make lines. So if I'm as soon as I'm done with this little section right here, what I'm trying to do is actually try to create some sort of triangle shape kind of coming down. And I'll probably end up try to follow that line to this leg right here. And from there, if I have some time, because we got about 15 minutes of the workshop and I definitely want to get some more questions from y'all. but I'll probably end up like kind of cutting some lines right here, or some sort of design. But that's kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm just really using that rule of just subtracting, and I'm just subtracting, you know, just subtracting means just kind of like taking away from the sculpture.
Yeah, for someone who wants to do this on their own at home.
Oh, well,
Experiment.
just experiment
Yes.
and do it. You know, I think that's the first step, is just kind of like
Just do anything.
grab the material and just start. You know, I think that's like the hardest thing to do, because sometimes we overthink things. And then once we have those objects right in front of us, you know, we just like, again, using the terms that I gave y'all earlier, just like really just play, like just kind of like take yourself back to like as a kid with those building blocks and things like that, and just allowing your intuition, your imagination just to flow.
Yeah.
Is that, what do you
Yeah,
what do you think?
definitely. I would say, you know, everything is trial and error. And, you know, you might not, everything that you make at first might not be what you want, but it's just like keep working on it, keep experimenting with supplies. And if you don't, you know, there's always a 99-cent store. There's always the thrift store. There's always found objects that you find on the side of the street.
Yeah.
That's how, you know, I started.
Yeah, I really love the fact that you said trial and error, because sometimes we kind of like hold this idea of perfection to try to have like this perfect sculpture, but to really experiment and allow yourself to fail. I think allowing yourself to fail really gets you to a place where to explore new things,
Definitely.
right?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like even once you make something and it's not what you wanted, something great might come out of that. Like you're like, oh, I didn't want that, but I like the way this looks, and you can incorporate that into other pieces, and it just builds from there.
I love that advice. I love that advice. We're almost at that 1 hour mark, but we're just gonna use like the last 5 minutes just to kind of allow us to work real quick, and then we'll come back to the audience and say what's up, and also answer more questions and be intimate with y'all. But I think we kind of got there, and then let's see.
I just kind of still have to wait.
Oh, you still gotta wait. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go at it then.
Okay, go for it. I can show you guys, and I can talk more about the work. Let me see. Okay, so I poured this. Okay, this one is getting hard. I don't know if you can see the texture. You see, once I'm touching it, it doesn't get transferred into my glove. So we're getting there. This piece seems to be also doing the same. And so with this type of pieces, you can actually pinch them. You can pinch the foam, and it starts kind of, you know, tightening up. You can move it around. Just always please wear gloves with this, because you don't want this on your hands. It's really hard to take off your hands, and you'll probably have it on your nail bits for like 2 weeks. You know, it's really gooey. You can mess around with it. Even the texture, you can pull it, and you can add it to other pieces connected. It stretches. Let me know if you guys can see. And then I'm pulling it. So I'm exposing the inside. The inside is still wet, but I like the crisp skin of it. And you can use that crisp skin. I'll show you. Maybe I'll place this here. Okay. And so, as you can see, let me see. Oh, maybe I have to do the whole. Oh, it's not showing. Oh my God, it's not showing. No, but maybe I can do the whole like makeup thing. I don't think I'll be honest, I haven't researched that. But I mean, once it's dry, it's not, I think the toxic part is like when you're like, it's coming out of the bottle and the fumes are coming out of it. So I'll show you. So this is the drier stuff, and then this is the inside. You can even take it apart and mess around with it. You know, you can put it onto other pieces. I'll show you. I'll show you with color. I'll spray some with color. So you can see, I'm gonna be using spray paint. Again, please wear protection while doing this. Okay, so. Oh, it doesn't show. Okay. Sorry, Noah. You know, if you spray it, you can still, with the colors, you can add it to any piece. See, and then like this piece here, like it opens. So I was like trying to stretch the little skin off of it and have it like exposed. I can even put it on top of the skewers. It kind of has like a fleshy looking type of texture. This piece I had stretched it and added it to the top. And once it's dried, it like has this sort of like stretched skin look like. But now I can actually start adding paint to it. So I will try to add a little bit of color so you can kind of see how it looks with color. So that's how it could start looking like with color. And I will show you with the plastic how you can move it around and create shape with the plastic bag underneath it.
That's looking good.
Oh, fuck this. Sorry about the...
No, it's all
That's
good.
three things.
That's looking good. So just to give
Your mask.
just to give everyone a quick update what I'm doing over here. So I just quickly just use the square to give me the lines, and I'm just like not necessarily cutting all the way in. I'm just quickly marking it so I can create lines. So I'm just kind of like using it as a carving, and then like you can kind of see like right there. Those are the lines that I've been creating, and it may go all the way around, it may not. I just have to fill it out to see what it looks like at the end, just kind of really just playing around.
I love that.
Oh, thank you, Gabby. I love your sculpture too.
Oh, this is so good.
I'm just gonna play camera person and also kind of describe over there what's happening with Gabby. Gabby over there is using this the stapler to staple the chicken wire together, so making sure that everything is somewhat, put together, fixing all loose ends, moving and playing with the material, shifting it, figuring out different forms, or also creating support. That's another thing that we necessarily that's also important in art making is support. Sometimes when you're making a sculpture, obviously it might end up somewhere and needs depending on like the lifetime that you plan, so, making sure that it has a proper support that it needs. Yeah. Cool. And then one says, will you be showing the final artwork? Where will they be displayed? We haven't planned on it, but right now, building bridges over here in Santa Monica, you could definitely cruise over here, and I think it's fine just to leave it like this, and you could come in and check out the sculptures themselves as they are sculptures in process. Mm-hmm. So, they'll be up for a couple of days, but we definitely look out on the Instagram or Facebook just to, know the time and place. Any other questions?
Could you talk a little bit about breathing?
Oh, that's right. You know what? See, there we go. Thank you, Claudia. Okay. This is why it's really important to like breathe. I mean, not breathe right now as like she's spray painting.
I'm so sorry.
But it's okay. I'm going to close up over here. But sometimes we really do forget to like take a moment to step back from whatever we're doing and to breathe, So Ruben Esparza, how you doing out there? Saludos. That's why it's really important to take a step back, because sometimes our mind or whatever we're doing, we just kind of get carried away and just kind of focus on that. But, taking a moment just to sit down, to ground yourself and to breathe is really important. And in a few minutes, when Gabby's all done over there, we're going to sit down with y'all and do a small little breathing exercise together and to ground ourselves. And then Anna Briz says, who inspired you both in your practice? Gabby, who inspired you in your practice?
I'm blanking out right now.
Okay, we'll come back.
Sorry.
We'll come back to Gabby. I think for me, my practice, I think at the moment, I think it's just kind of like experiencing the moment. And as far as people, it's just the people that are in my community right now. I hang out with a lot of artists. I hang out with my family. I hang out with my community. I hang out with my friends. So those are like my go-to as far as inspiration, just talking. But as artists, there's so many great artists out here. Also in Los Angeles, we mentioned a couple earlier within our community. But the person I've been kind of like thinking a lot about is the great James Luna. He's a performance artist. I've been thinking a lot about him, how he's a maker, he's a performer, and a storyteller. And I think that's one thing that, that art making is a way to tell stories. I see Claudia Cano. Hello, Claudia Cano, another fellow artist in the house. But check out these fumes over here, these colors that are happening right here. See, this is like kind of like the poetics of labor right here, just enjoying that painting, blending. That's looking really good, Gabby. All right, y'all.
My signature yellow. I love yellow. And even adding colors on top of colors create different colors. And it looks magical.
Blending the colors, adding colors.
Her signature yellow. And what about healing? How do you merge your art practice with breathing and healing?
Yeah, I think this is a good transition.
Heals, right?
Yeah,
art heals.
It definitely art heals. Definitely don't breathe in.
That's not healing. That's something called getting high. But we don't do that because that's not good. But definitely healing, art making is a healing process in the sense that using your creative energy to really put and make something out there. So just kind of really trusting your intuition, your head, your spirit, just kind of really trusting all of that. So, just take a moment, wherever you're sitting down, I invite you to close your eyes. And what we're gonna do is just take 3 deep breaths in. And as you're kind of setting yourself in, do a body scan, feel your body from your head all the way to your toes. You got Gabby over here. So go ahead and take your first deep breath in. Inhale, about like 3 seconds. And as you're inhaling today, what are you most grateful for today? Today is a beautiful Sunday. What are you grateful for today? And as you exhale, say the thing that you're grateful in your heart. We got over here the Santa Monica Metro. Shout out to them. But continue to ground yourself. Take a deep breath in. And as we were talking about the full moon today, what do you want to manifest today? Take a deep breath in. And exhale. And in this last deep breath in, we just want to thank you everyone for showing up today and supporting us. And thank you, Building Bridges. Thank you, Claudia, for having us over here.